Aye.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. How are you, Yaksh? Please sit down.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm
There
fine,
is
ma'am.
in mythology, Yaksh Prajapati. Have you heard? Yaksh Prajapati. He's a big shot.
No, ma'am. I have
You
not
have
heard
not
of.
heard. He is the son of Brahma.
Thank
Very
you, ma'am.
knowledgeable.
Thank
That's
you,
why
ma'am.
we ask because of your name. Doesn't matter. Not so important. So tell me that there's a scheme called Vande Bharat. Have you heard? Vande Bharat.
Sorry,
Vande
ma'am.
Bharat. You haven't
I
heard.
have not.
But it's coming in the newspaper even today.
I'll read about it,
You will
ma'am.
read about it. Okay, that's very nice. So there is H3N8. H3N8. It's a bird flu case, first of its kind for the moment in China. Have you heard about this one?
Sorry, ma'am. I'm
You
not
haven't
aware
heard.
of
You
it.
don't read newspaper? You don't
I
like
read
that?
newspapers, ma'am.
You do. Doesn't matter. So tell me about Quad, coming in the paper every day. Quad.
Ma'am, Quad is an alliance of four nations:
Right.
India, Australia, Japan, and USA.
What are they doing?
Ma'am, its focus is on security in the Indo-Pacific. Apart from it, there are many other focus areas. For example, climate change, technology.
Right.
In COVID-19 also, they have initiated a COVID vaccine initiative, ma'am, to help the countries to supply the vaccines.
It's only supplying, or they also do vaccine diplomacy, like give free vaccine.
And they are also engaged
They're
in
doing
vaccine
that,
diplomacy.
because they're trying to get the world in their favor.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So tell me, you're a engineer?
Yes, ma'am. Civil
Okay,
engineer.
civil engineer. So now you know about AI, which is the common word, artificial intelligence.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So what does artificial intelligence do? How does it help society?
Ma'am, artificial intelligence is a technology which uses data on a large scale to take decisions autonomously. Basically, it resembles the human mind, just similar to.
Suppose I do robotic surgery, I'm a doctor.
Yes, ma'am.
So will it help me while I do the cut part?
Ma'am, it must help, but I am not sure the exact
So they
application.
help in cardiac surgery. You have had a heart attack, somebody,
Mhm.
and he's put on the table. They put that robotic thing, and they, with assistance of the robot, they do the surgery, because it is very definitive. It'll tell you this point you cut, this point the valve is restricted. Whatever.
Yes, ma'am.
You
Thank you.
understand that? No? The heart has four. The upper ventricle 2 and the lower ventricle 2.
Yes.
So one of them gets clogged, the artery. Some pulmonary artery, there's the aorta and so on. So one of them gets clogged for some reason, for bad habits, for food, genetics. So that robot, he points out, he do it here. Then they put a cut and they put a stent. It's very non-invasive actually. They don't cut a lot of it.
Yes.
Only in open heart surgery they cut. They
Thank
cut a
you.
lot, you know.
Yes.
So you must read all this.
I'll
Okay.
read.
Tell me, there's a lot of dialogue about coal.
Yes, ma'am.
First they said, the government, they said, no, we have got enough coal, why are you shouting, etc. Now they are saying 13 passenger trains have been cancelled only to transport coal,
Yes, ma'am.
because we have an energy crisis. So have you heard of this?
Yes, ma'am.
You have. Okay, tell me.
Ma'am, currently there has been a shortage of electricity from both demand side as well as supply side.
Right.
From the demand side, after reopening of the economy, all the industries are demanding more electricity, as well as early onset of the summers has also increased the demand of electricity from the consumer side. From the supply side, ma'am, the international prices of coal are very high, and as well as there is a shortage of railways racks in India. So supplying of coal from the mines to the power plants has been reduced. So that is why there is a
They have
shortage
cut
of
the
electricity.
passengers and they only will transport
Yes, ma'am.
coal, right?
Yes.
Okay, tell me lastly, have you heard of Mendel, Mendel, Gregory Mendel? Have you ever heard this name in history?
Sorry, ma'am.
You haven't heard? He's the man of genetics. He actually introduced the human gene theory, what goes on and so forth. Gene mutation also he talked about. Doesn't matter. So, sir,
Thank you.
आप please पूछेगा.
Madam,
Hmm.
you are from Uttar Pradesh. You
Yes.
are a farmer.
Yes, sir.
What is the size of his land holding?
So it's 60 bighas, around 4 hectares, sir.
4 hectares.
Yes, sir.
That means around 10 acres.
Around.
10 acres. So he is a medium farmer or large?
There's a Sir, I'm not sure about the category.
Okay,
it
no
follows.
So, tell me, in what way the income of your father from the farmland has increased over the past few years, because there are a lot of emphasis of the government to increase farmers' income at the national level, doubling of income. It was targeted for 22-23. So is it really happening at the micro level, as in the case of your own farmland? Have you noticed that yes, there is a consistent increase in farm income? So 4 hectare is a good size, much higher than the national average. National
Yes.
average is only less than about
1.0.
1.18
Yes.
acres. Yeah.
Sir, in my opinion, the income has been increased. Basically, my father sow wheat and sugarcane.
Mhm.
The prices of sugarcane is also good. The state advisory price is around 340,
Yeah.
and it is yielding around a profit of 8,000 rupees per bigha.
Very good.
So the income has increased as well as the mechanization has also increased. My father now owns a tractor, a tiller, on which the government is also subsidizing a lot. So it has led to mechanization of the agriculture, and the fertilizers are also easily available. But today it is like there is a shortage of fertilizers, but earlier the fertilizers were easily available. So it has led to increase of the income, sir.
Okay. Now UP has set a target of 1 trillion economy by 27-28
Yes, sir.
US dollar, 1 trillion.
Yes.
Right. So at the current level, with the current level of about 285 billion US dollars GDP, do you think it will be able to achieve this target in the next 5 years? But then it will have to at least have a annual growth rate of 18-20% in GDP. What are the factors which the government of UP must have thought that yes, with these kind of facilities, with these kind of support, we can reach that level? Can you name 2-3?
Sir, Uttar Pradesh has many leverages which it can use to get to the $1 trillion economy. First is the demographic size, the easy and cheap availability of the labor. Second is the availability of land in Uttar Pradesh. And third is, sir, the current government is emphasizing more on the industrialization part. So I think if efforts are put on a right path, then it can be achieved, sir.
Okay, good. Now, recently, in fact, yesterday only, Honorable Prime Minister made a remark that we must provide quick and accessible justice to people using technology. What kind of technology do you see in expediting our judicial system?
Sir, one technology that comes to my mind, taking cue from the artificial intelligence, I think artificial intelligence can be used in our judicial system.
In what way? Tell me 1 or 2 ways.
Sir, for sorting out the cases, to categorize the cases, as well as to do some basic research on the cases. The judges as well as the lawyers can use artificial intelligence in that way, sir. Apart from it, I think blockchain can also be used in judicial system, so that there is no tamperance of the judicial files, etc.
Oh, good, very nice. Now, in last 5 to 7 years, the startup ecosystem has really boomed in India. What are the reasons for that?
So there are many reasons
Just
behind
tell me
this.
2, 3.
So one is the Startup India program from the government side. Secondly, our universities are also emphasizing more on the R&Ds. For example, IITs and NITs are emphasizing a lot on the R&D. Many research parks have been opened in our universities. Third is more and more people are more interested in the research, and this is also culminating into more patents and the startup ecosystem, sir. So I think these are the things.
Have you also thought of at any point of time after you completed your graduation from IIT Guwahati to think of a startup?
Sir, I have been associated with a startup for a few months, but I was more inclined toward the civil services. That is why I could not take that idea, sir.
Okay, right. Now, my last question, Yaksh, you said that you were associated with the project on youth empowerment.
Yes, sir.
So, what is the sure short way of empowering youth? By which one action you can empower youth? There are so many this thing, but in Europe, tell me just one which you think is most important and potent way.
Sir, in my view, education and skill development is the most important factor behind the youth empowerment.
Okay, good. Thank you. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Yaksh, there is a term in our terminology and in our literature, Yaksh Prashna. This is a Yaksh Prashna.
Yes, sir.
What is a Yaksh Prashna?
So Yaksh Prashna is a question answer dialogue between Yaksha, who was the tutelary protector of a lake in Mahabharata, and he asked some questions from Yudhishthir when he went on to take water from the lake.
Very good. You have a good concept. Now let me put a Yaksh Prashna to you. Which is your favorite question answered in the Quora by you? You answered Quora.
Yes, sir.
Which is what the most intellectually stimulating answer that you think you satisfied you emotionally and intellectually?
Sir, from the writing side or from reading side?
I leave it to you. Pick your choice. It should be convincing.
Sir, recently I read a question answer from Sian Karnan, who is from US, about the socialization of the children. He tells his experience when he went on for having a dinner in a restaurant. He saw two couple who were quarreling in the restaurant, sir, and their children were looking at them. So these small things influence the socialization of the children, and when they grow up, these things keep in their mind, and this reduces the capability and development of the children from the socialization parts. So I think this.
So is it a question or an observation? I feel it's an observation rather than a question. Anyway, we'll go to the next point of your personality. What troubles me most is that I'm a senior citizen. Constructions that came up much before I was born continue to give service even today. Constructions that are yet even to be inaugurated fall down even before the inaugural, and if they do last, if the shelf life is 50 years, they collapse in 5 years. As a civil engineer, tell me what is the reason? You have heard of the Curzon Bridge of Allahabad. You have heard of so many bridges who are well past their shelf life, yet they are giving excellent service. Bridges that came old enough to be the great-great-grandchildren are collapsing. Why?
Sir, the prime reason behind this is the design and construction of the bridges. Usage of proper materials in the bridges would enhance the lifetime of bridges, and also the proper design, taking input from the site, for example, the soil quality, and using the proper material in the construction would enhance the life of the bridges. As well as, sir, there is also a term called factor of safety. If we improve the factor of safety, the lifetime increases. As we see in the ancient buildings, for example, Taj Mahal, Lal Killa, they are still surviving because their factor of safety is very large, sir. These things enhance the lifetime, sir.
Tell me one thing, you said that, but you never mentioned the cost of construction and the corruption part.
Yes, sir.
You never had this collapse of bridges and roads being uprooted 100 years ago. It was only happening now. As a civil engineer, don't you think that the corruption also has a major role to play in the construction work?
So it also plays a role, sir. Thank you.
So instead of selecting your words, you have to come out, even if it is an unpleasant truth. Let me see. Now I come to green construction. What is green construction? There's so much talk of eco-friendly construction, green construction. What do we understand by that?
Sir, green construction means thinking about the environment, taking care of the environment while we design, construct and maintenance the building. For example, we are constructing nowadays green buildings. It means that green buildings are energy efficient. They recycle their waste very efficiently. They use building automation system to reduce the energy utilization.
Loss.
The solar panels are used, and the greenery is also used, sir.
Oh.
As well as in the construction material.
How is the greenery used and what is its contribution to?
For example, usage of green plants and trees inside the buildings reduces the overall temperature of the building. That reduces the energy demand in the summer times. It enhances the environment of the building, sir.
Very good. The place where you come from has a very interesting name, Amroha.
Yes, sir.
What is the historical meaning of Amroha?
Sir, Amroha takes its name from Am plus Rohu. Am is a major crop of Amroha, and Rohu is a fish. But nowadays it is not found in Amroha. Earlier there were many talabs in Amroha, and there was Rohu Machli, Rohu. So it names.
But this is a mismatch. What is the combination between Am and Rohu?
So there is no combination as such, but the name comes from arm plus rope, sir.
You don't know the reason why it is called Arm and Rohu?
Sir, because they were the major activities.
Anyway, that's a different story altogether. Very close by Hathras,
Yes, sir.
a major tragedy happened about a year ago. And everything that should have happened did not happen by the way it should have happened. Can you tell me what was the incident and what were the major administrative and police flaws in the Hathras tragedy?
So there was a rape case in Hathras.
Yes.
And the body of the victim was cremated without the consent of the family members by the police, sir. So there was lapses from the police side. They should have taken.
This is one lapse, one,
Yes.
and a major one. Any other lapses that you can think of?
Sir, I am not able to recall details.
My last question to you. Empowerment is a beautiful word. You have empowered the youth. I would talk about empowerment of the weaker sections of society, meaning the OBCs and the scheduled caste and the tribals. What are the 3 bullet points you would use if you were the district magistrate to empower the weaker sections of society? The weaker sections of society, the scheduled caste, the scheduled tribe.
So firstly, I would like to generate the capability through education and skill development in the weaker sections so that they can more productively contribute towards the economy as well as enhance their income. Secondly, is sir to reduce the discrimination against the weaker section. For example, SC Dalit atrocities. I would try to enhance the engagement between different sections of the society. For example, the festivals can be celebrated together. More engagement on the Panchayati Raj system at the level of villages can be enhanced to generate a confidence and trust and to reduce the atrocities against.
Would you not focus on untouchability?
Yes, sir. I would focus on this. The strict implementation of the Untouchability Act, Anti-Untouchability Act, as well as the awareness campaign should be the
What
awareness.
is the act? What is the act? Do you know the act? The specific name of the act?
So this is ST Act 1989. The prevention of atrocities.
What is it known as in English and Hindi, the full form of the act?
So I am not able to recall the
Never
exact.
mind, never mind. You are not in the police as of now. Therefore, it's good. If you know it, good. If you don't know it, it just doesn't matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sir.
Hey, Yaksh, civil engineering from IIT Guwahati. What's your take on the architectural heritage that we had in our history, Indian history?
Sir, we have very beautiful history of our architectural design. We have
As
many.
part of your civil engineering curriculum,
Yes, sir.
have you undertaken any visit to any of these sites where we have centuries old architectural buildings still surviving? Have you undertaken any, say, design audit, or for that matter, labor audit of such monuments?
No, sir. As a part of my civil engineering, I have not taken a visit to any monument, but I have visited monuments from my own interest. For example, I have visited Taj Mahal, the Red
Okay.
Fort of Agra. So, as a part of my project, I have not visited.
Red Fort, it is said about Red Fort at Delhi,
Yes,
not the Agra one. Delhi Red Fort के बारे में कहते हैं, it's a feminine fort. Have you come across
Sorry.
this term?
Sorry, sir. I am not aware about this concept.
Okay. All right. You write for Quora.
Yes.
You write answers on Quora. And you also do mentorship.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So tell us more about these interests of yours. Why
Sir-
is it that you are pulled towards this?
Sir, I write on Quora to enhance my writing skills as well as to share my experiences on various issues. I majorly write on the rural society, the sociology part, as well as for the civil services preparation for UPSC. And as a mentorship, I recently have been associated
Do
with.
you prescribe it then to an inquisitive mind? For example, I was just searching before interacting with you, I was just searching about this term Quora itself, whether it is a word, legitimate word or not. So if people write like this, like they do on Wikipedia, should it be used as a source material for getting authentic information about it? Because it's part of your habit. You are preparing for civil services, and that's why you write. And I look into this as authentic piece of information.
Sir, Quora is a place where people share their perspectives and opinions, as well as some answers on the contemporary events. But there have been questions on the authenticity of the data that is presented on the Quora. But there are some options from the Quora side, for example, upward, downward, reporting of the content, and also they use artificial intelligence to moderate the content, sir.
Have you heard the name of Prashant Kishore?
Yes, sir.
What does he do?
Sir, he is into politics, sir.
He's into politics, but he's a sought after person because of what? Because of his expertise in what? Doing politics?
Sir, he is a politics expert to garner more votes towards the political parties, sir.
So what does he
He's a
do?
strategist, sir.
He's a strategist.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, what's his modus operandi? How does he gather data? We were told that he gave a presentation to a prominent national party a couple of days back, and people were very impressed with the quality of data that he generated. So where does he get this data from? Have you heard of big data?
I've heard about the big data, sir, but
What is it?
But I'm not sure where he gets the data for the
No,
political
but what is big
strategy.
data in general? What is big data? Big data analytics.
Sorry, sir, I'm not very clear about this concept, sir.
Okay. What's happening in Sri Lanka?
So there have been an economic crisis in Sri Lanka. And
How do you measure this crisis? What's the thermometer by which we get to know that this economy is in crisis and ours is not?
sir, the macroeconomic indicators like
Like?
fiscal deficit, current account deficit, balance of payment crisis, and the growth rate, these terms can be used to measure the economic health of an economy, sir.
Is it on account of these that Sri Lanka is not doing well? Or there is something
So
else
there
that
are
you
many-
missed out?
So there are many factors behind the economic crisis in Sri Lanka.
What is? Are you aware of the debt to GDP ratio of Sri Lanka?
So
Total debt to total GDP ratio?
So I'm not sure about the exact ratio in Sri Lanka, sir.
Okay. You.
We carry a discussion on economy, Yaksh. So, when do you think India will be able to achieve its target of $5 trillion economy? Roughly.
So I think it will take more 5-6 years more to get to the target, sir.
Okay, but RBI has different views. RBI says that it will take 12 years
Yes.
to recover from COVID losses.
Yes.
So now, how do you counter this?
So COVID-19 has impacted adversely on the Indian economy. There have been negative growth rate in the past 2 years. That has challenged the Indian economy. But I think I need to read more about this, the target, sir.
Okay, no issues. Okay, so I would like to know here why you are so keen to join civil services.
So civil services is a very prestigious job, and it provides opportunity for the civil servants to work on ground with engagement of the people for the welfare of the society. So, and also in diverse areas, in various sectors, for example, education, health. So these things have attracted me towards the civil services, sir.
You are a civil engineer, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so can you name 5 or 7 marvels of civil engineering?
Sir, from the ancient time and medieval times, I would say Taj Mahal, Eiffel Tower are the two major civil engineering marvels. From the current times, Burj Khalifa, the Chenab Bridge in Jammu and Kashmir, Taipai 101 Tower from South Korea. These are the major engineering marvels that comes to my mind, sir.
So tell me, what are the issues with town planning in India and why there are very less number of planned cities in India?
So there are many challenges in the town planning in India. First is that there is a huge migration from rural to urban areas, and the capacity of urban areas is less to accommodate such a large population. So this has led to increasing slums and unplanned areas in our cities. So secondly is that we have our old cities. We are not planned enough to provide the basic necessities for the society, sir. These are the problems, sir.
Okay, what do you mean by extradition treaty? And with which countries do we have this treaty, and with which countries we don't have this treaty?
I beg your pardon, sir. I did not.
You don't know.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's talk about your optional subject, sociology.
Yes.
So if we see many global indices, okay, especially in terms of gender inequality, global hunger index, India is not performing very well. So what are the main reasons, and how do we address this situation?
Sir, one reason is that India is not focusing enough on the hunger side, sir, on the malnutrition side. Although government is doing efforts, but the malnutrition problem still remains in India. The IMR, the MMR, and the nutritional level of children in terms of stuntedness and the wastedness is high. We need to focus more on the hunger side. Secondly is that the per capita income of India is low, which is counted in the Human Development Index. We need to focus more on the employment side. The manufacturing sector has to be improved to accommodate more and more people into the employment. And also we need to shift our population from agriculture towards the industries to enhance their income. And sir, thirdly is the inequality part. Sir, in the gender inequality, there is a low status of women in Indian society. We need to focus more on that, sir, for their education, for their reservation in parliament and in other services as well, sir.
So you mentioned Human Development Index.
Yes.
So you have been in Uttar Pradesh and Guwahati. So can you compare HDI of Uttar Pradesh and Assam?
Sir, I am not sure about the exact rankings of both the states.
No need of rankings. Rough idea how they are performing in human development parameters.
Sorry, sir. I think I need to read on that, sir.
Okay. So my last question, are you aware of CUET?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you highlight certain merits as well as demerits of the same?
The common universities entrance test, it is said, on the merit side, it focuses on the capabilities of the student to perform better in the CUET exam. It would reduce the rote learning at the school level. It would lead to more curiosity and conceptual clarity of the students while they study in the school level, as well as it would provide a common level playing field for all the boards from across India. These are the merits that come to my mind. On the demerit side, sir, it would lead to more proliferation of the coaching institutes, and the shift from the school education to the coaching institutes. So in the schools, there is a holistic development of the students in terms of communication, in terms of social cohesion. They also learn various values of leadership, team building, etc. in the school. While the shifting of students from the